Hello and welcome to our deadlift tutorial. Today we're going to be taking you through the technical aspects of the deadlift, how to perform it safely and correctly, and the standard technique that we use to coach our athletes when they first start out on the powerlifting journey. The first thing that we need to establish is the width of the feet when we approach the bar. So how we decide this in the most basic way possible is I'm just going to ask Nathan to stand normally. And I want you to find the stance width that you would use to jump as high as you possibly can in the air. Good, so replicate that stance width again. Cool, perfect. And that's how far our feet are going to be apart when we deadlift. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to try to bring the athlete up to the bar. The most important thing that we must make sure is that the bar is over midfoot. So, general rule of thumb, if we look straight down without pushing our knees back, we should be covering our laces. This may differ from athlete to athlete. Some athletes with longer femurs may feel that they need to be a slightly further back, but for the general rule of thumb, for most people, 95% of people, just about an inch away from the bar with their shins is the perfect distance to be there. We move around the bar doesn't move around us. So don't roll the bar around, just make sure that you move around it. Okay, now we have determined the distance that our shins are away from the bar and also the width that our feet are. We're going to show you from a full setup. So we need to make sure that we are engaging our hamstrings. This is both a push through the floor and a pulling movement. So we need to make sure that we have constant engagement with those pulling muscles. How we're going to do that is by engaging the hamstrings to begin with. We're going to get the athlete to put his arms directly by his side and begin an RDL motion down to the bar. At this point, his shins are away from the bar, but what he's going to do first is he's going to engage his lats and then slightly come down, pulling up with the arms to take the tension. So his shins come in contact. The bar shouldn't roll forward or back. And now he's going to slightly push his knees out into his arms to engage his glutes. And as long as he has full tension, he should be shaking. Sorry to hold you in this position for too long. And now keeping a nice upright chest, he drives the earth away from him. And as the bar comes past his knees, he's focusing on driving the glutes through. And back down, a couple more reps. Keeping the lats tight again, take the tension, push the knees out and stand. Beautiful, good. An essential when doing the deadlift and also pulling heavy weights in a multitude of different exercises is bracing. Now, we need to use a maneuver called the Valsalva maneuver. And how we do that is we slightly tuck our rib cage down and then breathe in to the diaphragm. And whilst we hold our air, we try to push the air out into our obliques. You should instantly feel that what you get is a tightening of the core, but not just the front. We want to also fill the lower back with air as well. This is going to help to protect the spine when lifting heavy, especially in the deadlift, which if done wrong without bracing can be quite a high risk maneuver. One of the cues that I like to give my athletes for when the bar has left the floor is to maintain the leg press. So obviously from the bottom half, we are looking to press with the legs and obviously pull with the hips and somewhat with the back. Obviously there is going to be some element of pulling with the back when we're going towards our 1 rep max. But essentially as the bar breaks the floor, maintain the press through the earth. And that is one of the best cues I think it was ever given to me when it comes to deadlifting. And it's one of the best cues that's going to save your spine and your lower back by utilizing your legs. Some common mistakes that we see with a deadlift is, obviously if we go for step 1, right? So we come up to step 1, in 9 out of 10 cases with people with normal limb lengths, 1 inch away from the bar hiding the laces is going to be the perfect position for them to find the hip height that their body wants to pull from. If the bar rolls forward, so go through the setup, and then what I want you to do is I just want you to over sit into it, so let the shins come forward and you'll see the bar roll forward. So over sit, let the bar roll, his hips come too low, and you see instantly that's 10 times harder. But what you would also see from the side is you would see when there's weight on it, that his hips shoot up into the position that we're trying to get him to pull from anyway. So Common mistakes are rolling the bar forward. If at any point you feel the bar roll forward, just reset. No problems at all. Train that position in, and trust me, once you've trained it in, that'll be your optimal position to deadlift from. The next biggest mistake that I see with people deadlifting is not pulling the slack out of the bar. Obviously here we're very fortunate that we have a Texas deadlift bar here, which means that we can pull a lot more slack out than with a normal stiff bar. But one of the things that we need to make sure we do is pull it out, because as we engage the legs, we don't want any lag between us pushing or pulling and the bar leaving the floor. Imagine a train when it leaves a train station. The front carriage moves before the back carriage moves because the slack in the couplings isn't taken. The same will happen with your body, things moving out of alignment, and injuries can occur. So for optimal performance with the deadlift, we need to make sure that we take the tension out so that both the front and the back carriage move at the same time. Another common mistake that we see with the deadlift is the bar being too far away from the lifter when they deadlift. This means that we have to expend energy to pull the bar back to where we should be starting, close to our center of mass, if not touching our shins. The easiest way to explain this is if I'm standing next to Nathan like this, and he wants to try to pick me up, and I'm rubbing shoulder to shoulder with him, it is far easier for him to pick me up from here than it is with me standing over here. The reason why we need the bar so close is because we want to use as little energy as possible to get the bar off the floor. Often getting the bar off the floor is one of the hardest parts of pulling a heavy deadlift. So we need to make sure that the bar is as close to our center of mass as possible. Our body works better when things are on our center of mass. One cue for this is making sure that when we pull the bar off the floor, just before we pull the bar off the floor, the bar is touching our shins. The next mistake that I see, and this could be with training, or this could be within your warm-up with lack of activation, or just kind of negligence of technique when you are actually deadlifting itself. Obviously, as the bar comes off the floor, sometimes you may feel as though the bar drifts slightly away from you, mainly around the mid-shin area. This tends to be from a loss of tightness in the lats. So as we lose tightness in the lats, let go, the bar is going to come forward. Obviously, if we're pulling a heavy deadlift where we need the bar path to be optimal in order to get it up, any changes to bar path, especially moving away from our center of mass, is going to result in the bar just stopping. So one thing that is really, really important is as the bar breaks the floor, and as we continue to drive with our legs, like a big leg press through the floor, we need to make sure that we're squeezing our lats the whole time as well, especially when it gets heavy. The lat runs from here to the fascia in the middle of your spine and the middle of your back. They're a fantastic stabilizer of the spine, so make sure that you're utilizing them when you're deadlifting. So thank you for joining us, and thank you, Nathan, for demonstrating. Who else better to demonstrate than Nathan, who recently pulled 3 times body weight at comp, which is a fantastic achievement for a team. Obviously, this is at a basic level on how to deadlift. There are far more in-depth and individual technique changes which athletes need. If you are interested, obviously, in looking at your individual needs and more advanced deadlifting techniques, then please click the online coaching application on our YouTube. Don't forget to like and follow our Instagram, which is team.live2lift. Like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Massive thank you to Bella behind the camera as well for doing this for us. And we hope to see you soon for more tips.